I'm Lee, and David and I are going to be hosting the sit this week. I'm going to offer a couple of thoughts this morning, so if you want to put it on speaker view, you'll get me. Otherwise, sit with everybody in gallery view. There is this beautiful story that I have remembered and heard for a number of years that always stays with me. It's from the Chalaga Sutta, and it's about a blind turtle that lives deep in the ocean and comes up to the surface once every 100 years for air. And there's a golden ring floating in the oceans. One golden ring floating somewhere in the ocean. And the chance that that turtle comes up to the surface and puts its head through that ring when it gets there, the sutta says that that is the same as the chances of being born into a human life. That's the preciousness of this life that we're living. For me, it is such a beautiful image and such an incredible reminder. It's so easy to forget. We so easily get caught in the details, the lists, the responsibilities, the tasks, that we forget that this life we're living is precious and rare. So I've been wondering over the past couple of weeks, what is it that makes us recognize life's preciousness? And really what I came to is the knowledge that this life won't last forever, that it's finite, and that our lives, like every other moment, are impermanent. They arise and they pass away. So as difficult as it is, there's something so important in looking towards death, because it helps us really live our lives more fully. Many of you know, if you've been coming to the Daily Sit, that I've spoken about these retreats that I've been doing with a woman who's dying of ALS. And she's been offering to share with us what she's experiencing as her life comes to an end, what perspective she's gaining at this time in her life. And she says over and over again to us, I'm not doing this so you learn about my process. I'm doing this so that what I'm learning can help you live your life now. Live it in the best, most authentic and loving way possible. I really feel like what a gift she's giving us. I know we've all had glimpses. We've lost a loved one, or we've had our own scares with death, moments when we've been very close to death and everything becomes more poignant. Our perspective changes. It's as if the way I kind of envision it is that the veil between life and death becomes very thin, and something gets through to us, and we remember how precious it all is. In those moments, life takes on a different flavor. But the thing is, usually, it seems that that urgency and poignancy fades away again. We get re-engaged in our lives, in the details, and we forget to take the time to reflect on this bigger arc of our lives. And it's not only that, it's also, death isn't that easy to look at. Listen to this poem by Marie Howe. And we might not imagine that this is us, but maybe it is. It's called The Last Time. The last time we had dinner together in a restaurant with white tablecloths, He leaned forward and took my two hands in his and said, I'm going to die soon. I want you to know that. And I said, I think I do know. And he said, what surprises me is that you don't. And I said, I do. And he said, what? And I said, know that you're going to die. And he said, no, I mean, know that you are. We carry some level of denial, most of us. We can't imagine that death includes us. And underneath the denial, I speculate, is some fear, greater or lesser degrees, but fear of the unknown, fear of losing the sense of self, fear of letting go of everything that matters to us. And of course, right? Of course we have fear. This is one of the things that my teacher with ALS has taught me. Of course, there is denial and fear. And, thank goodness for this meditation practice. We know how to turn towards the hard places. We know how to hold fear gently and with care and with love. Each time we practice, our capacity to open to all of it, it's growing. It's not easy. We need to go slowly. But just knowing how to turn towards the hard stuff is so helpful for us. And so at this point, you might be wondering, why am I talking about death when our topic for this quarter is joy? It doesn't seem on the surface to make sense. And yet, I think it does. We know that there's some sort of connection there. There's something, an interplay between being comfortable with death, recognizing the preciousness of life, and having that move us into gratitude. Practicing gratitude for this life opens our hearts up and lets us appreciate everything, right? Everything with a new light. It's like, here we are, at least in New England, at the end of summer. And isn't it interesting, the poignancies of these last summer days? We can feel them and we cherish them in a particular way. When I walk outside and the air is a bit cool, and yet the sun feels really warm, I'll take those extra moments and I'll shut my eyes and just take the sun onto my face, just soak it in. And I'll look out and I'll see the colors in the landscape, knowing that it's not going to be there in another month. We know that these last bits of summer are so precious because we're moving into fall and winter. So maybe for you, it's the last few bites of a really, really good meal, or the last pages of a novel we don't want to end. We just savor them. If we can practice turning towards death, even just a little, that same sense of savory and really relishing the moments of our lives becomes much more accessible. In Buddhism, death meditation is called Manarata Sati, and there are many approaches to it, but they all lead to this, to appreciating every moment, using every moment skillfully. Whether it's the washing of the dishes that feels really boring, or the spacing out while watching TV, there's a little something on our shoulder, right? Whispering in our ear. And that is one of the practices the Buddha spoke of, to imagine death sitting on your shoulder. It changes all those moments. It makes us so grateful just for the ability to be able to care for ourselves, to wash our dishes, to enjoy the comfort of our homes in the evening. It touches us. And from this place, joy is so much more accessible. David Stendhal Ross, who writes a lot about gratitude, he says, it's not joy that makes us grateful. It's gratitude that makes us joyful. So we practice gratitude, and joy will just naturally arise. You might have heard Bill and Susan talk. I love this. They talk about how they high-five each other in the morning, each morning. Happy they woke up to another day, that they made it through the night, both of them. Susan says, it will not always be so. Just that reflection, it's almost so simple that we forget to acknowledge it. But it's true, right? We woke up, savor the day, feel the joy. And mudita, joy in another's happiness, is more accessible if we live with death near us. You know that common adage, little adage of don't sweat the small stuff? That becomes really real. Death gives us a perspective so that we don't want to sweat the small stuff. We don't want to waste our time there. And, you know, sure, those feelings of envy and resentment, the near enemies of mudita, of course they come up sometimes. But the more we live with this understanding that our lives are short and that we can't hold on to anything, gratitude takes the front seat. Our hearts expand. And the envy and the resentment, it melts away a little bit more easily. And we feel mudita. I've been reading stories recently from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I've gotten on their website, and it's a really good practice to read about someone who's nearing the end of their life, having a dream fulfilled. And maybe it's to ice skate with an Olympian, or ride in a helicopter, or meet someone special. And these stories touch us. We are so happy for this person. And when I read the stories, you know, they kind of highlight the people that have helped make this event happen. And every single person who helped is so happy to be a part of it, so happy for the other person. Mudita is made so clear by death, right? Everything else falls away. We don't have to wait until we or someone we love is close to death. We can practice that gratitude each day. We can use prompts to help us remember. We can live with death right on our shoulder and reflect on the preciousness of this one life, to put our lives in perspective. So I'm going to end with a few words by Jeff Foster that speaks to this. These are the days of our lives. No other days are coming. These are the days of ordinariness and miracles. The days of breathing, the days when blood pumps through our veins, the days that seem to last forever, that never seem to end. The days where we remain close to life, feel its warmth, its tenderness, and its ferocity. Days that make up a life, days to be lived. I'm in love with these days, given freely. Days whose preciousness is rooted in their own impermanence, whose fragility and solidity seem inseparable. Don't forget these days, and in particular this day, the one you inhabit, the one that holds you where you are, as a mother holds her little one, breathless, yet robust, pink and tiny and perfect. Not without flaws, but loved because of them. If I'm given only one more day, let it be this day. Thank you all for your attention. And let's transition to practice. Really take it all in today, right now. First, bringing some attention to our bodies, offering them what they need right now. And as we move and offer them, just in the back of our minds, having that feeling of gratitude for, our bodies, all that they do for us, how they support us. And when that feels complete, and that you're able to sit quietly for some time, bring yourself into stillness. Let yourself settle down into this seat, into this space. Perhaps letting yourself take a couple deeper than normal breaths. Inhaling and letting the exhale just clean out whatever kind of cobwebs are in your body so that you can sit here afresh. And as you invite your awareness inside, as you begin to explore your inner landscape as it is right now, can you let a sense of gratitude permeate? Can you let it provide some sort of warmth to your heart and warmth to the quality of your attention? How grateful to be here right now, breathing in and out, sitting with like-minded friends. If your mind has become casual or has gotten taken away in some sort of daydream, notice it, bring it back again with maybe just a little underlying sense of gratitude that you know how to do that. You know how to come back. This is what we practice. And if you use your breath as an anchor, as you return to that, I've been thinking about this, so grateful that my breath knows how to breathe me even when I'm not paying attention. It brings in air to sustain me. If your practice is challenging in some way this morning, if difficult feelings are arising, we do the practice to hold them gently and with care. And maybe we can also, again, bring this underlying piece of gratefulness because we're learning from them. They're helping us develop courage to face what might be difficult. Courage, like Lori spoke about last week. So maybe even in those moments, that flavor of gratefulness can be there. And in these last moments, letting your attention expand to include all of us that are sitting here today. So grateful for this Sangha as a whole, and also each one of you, each person who has set an alarm or made the time in their day to show up here. So grateful for that, because that's what makes this Sangha. Just taking in that each one of us is a part of that, part of the whole. Thank you all for being here. Give me 1 second.